What we're doing today is hanging the headliner, and the roof is off of this two-door, and we're just going to put our headliner in first and take advantage of the extra light. What we've done so far is started hanging the headliner on the face side of the appropriate bow, beginning in the back. We're on our second bow right now, and what we've done is hung the headliner so that the stitching line is just below the bow. Tack it in place, making sure we've given it a little bit of a stretch so that there's no extra fullness at the seam. And then we add the cardboard strip all the way across the bow. And what this cardboard strip does is even out the tension. When you pull your headliner forward, you won't see the stress on each nail or staple that's holding the headliner in place. So that's a very important piece to include, is that cardboard strip that will give an even line for that headliner seam. I've also taken the floorboards out of the car so we can stand much easier on the knees. So take the floor out of your car. That'll help you get your job done. We are now inside the car with our headliner attached to all of the bows, and our headliner is draping down around us, and we're ready to begin attaching it to the upper rails. So this is what your headliner will look like when it's attached to just the bows, but not any of the upper rail areas. Now, because I hate to have to pull staples, I use a little bit of spray glue when beginning the headliner upper rail area. So what I've done is I've just shot a little bit of spray glue on the upper rail all the way around the car, header, upper rails, and above the rear window. I've only applied the glue to the rails, not the fabric. This is just going to allow me a little bit of extra hands while I'm trying to get my headliner nice and straight. I can push the headliner up and it'll stay, and if I don't like it, I can just pull it away and adjust it. And that'll alleviate a bunch of nail holes or snagging your headliner while you're doing this fitting. What you want to remember is to leave the headliner a little loose. When you put your panel in, that's what will give the final stretch. You want to allow enough fullness so that when you put your upper rail panel in, that will give the final stretch to the headliner. Okay, I've glued the corners, and as you know, the corners have steel back here, so you can't really nail in there easily. You can save these areas for when you're putting your upper rails in. You're going to want to get a nail right into those holes. But for putting the headliner in, I just shot some glue on that steel, and now I can press the headliner up against that. We're going to pre-fit the header panel. This is why I like to use the glue. When we set the header panel up, we see, oh, our headliner is not quite tight enough there. It's up too high. If that had been stapled, we'd have a mess. Now I can take my header panel out. I can peel my headliner away and tighten it up. And you're going to find you're really attaching the headliner right on the edge of that wood. And then you set your panel back in and you've got a tighter fit. No staple removing. I want to alleviate some headaches. Okay, a critical area for nailing in the car is the corner. you've got the curvature, and the panel has to be held back into the corner. So what we've had to do is replace the tacking strip in that piece of molding. And what we've done is we've taken our waterproof panel board and cut a strip and slid it in there, and then we put an extra piece of the cardboard tacking rail that we used in the headliner behind it. And that should give us an adequate tacking area for attaching our corner bowl. The headliner also gets attached to this, so it's pretty important that if yours is not in good shape, again, this is a piece of trim that sets in the corner, the rear corner of a two-door. There was no tacking material left in it, so it was cleaned up, and we slid a piece of waterproof cardboard in there to give us something to nail to.